Arcane is the newest Netflix series and it's based off the game League of Legends. And it's created by the people who made the game. And pretty much everybody's been loving it. They've been talking all about it all over the internet and how amazing it is. So I'm here to tell you, for those who haven't watched it, if it's as good as people are saying. And the answer is not quite. Let me specify that I don't hate this show. I just don't think it's as amazing as people are making it out to be, even though it is a really great show. People are talking about all the great things of the show, but they're also ignoring some of the negatives. So I'm going to talk about them. But let's start off with the positives. This review will have some spoilers in here, and I know that most people watching this probably haven't seen the show, but I kind of have to use spoilers to get my points across. So if you don't want spoilers, just go check out the show and then come back. Let's start off with the characters. All of the characters are great. I mean, I loved every single one of them. Let's start off with Jinx. Jinx is a greatly developed character. She's the main character of the show, and in the first 3 episodes, it looks like it's focusing on Vi, Milo, and Clagger. But after the end of episode 3, it really focuses on her and shows how she's been broken down by Vi and what's leading her to join Silco. Next, let's start off with Vi. Vi is also great. She's partnered up with this other person, I forgot her name, and they work really great together. And Vi's like the second most important character in the entire show, and she gets near the end she gets a lot of cool things to fight with, and I think overall her fights with characters were the most investing of every fight. Vander's also a standout. He dies in the first 3 episodes, but he's really a scene stealer in those first 3 episodes. And he had a really satisfying arc at the end. But my 2 favorite characters are Milo and Silco. And you might be wondering why my favorite character is the bad guy, because Silco is really cool. Now, normally the scarring and the weird eye would be cliched, but it works really well in here. You feel like he's been betrayed and scarred by Vander, and you can kind of see why he's so ruthless. He also might be one of the most menacing villains I've seen in a long time. And I also like Milo because he kind of reminded me of Sokka from Avatar. He's just kind of that person in the group that's kind of like quirky and like overprotective. So he was really great, even though he was only in the first 3 episodes. Let's talk about the animation. The animation here is beautiful. It's probably some of the best animation I've seen, and I think it's almost as good as Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Mitchells versus the Machines. It really helps the world look great and beautiful, and you really get a sense of the scale of this universe, of this world. And even though this animation does take some getting used to, such as the character designs, once you get used to it, you never think about it again. Another great thing about this show is the world building. The world building is incredible. Every single episode you're treated to a new part of this world, and the scale of it is just beautiful. It's almost as good as Dune, and Dune has probably the best world building and scale I've ever seen. The action in here is also phenomenal. It really reminded me of Into the Spider-Verse, of how intense you can make a animated show. And speaking of which, the show is also pretty violent. It is on camera, and I'm surprised how much they could show. It's not like over glorified violence. It feels appropriate to get the point across that people are getting beaten up left and right. It's also tense and gripping, and I was on the edge of my seat for almost all of them. And I also felt every punch, such as when Vi punched Powder. I felt like I was there witnessing it with the characters. The emotion here is also a great part of this show. It works really well when they focus on it, and they take their time with it because the first 3 episodes establish all the characters you need to know, and then after the next 6 episodes, you have established the characters well enough for you to get really invested with them and feel all the emotional arcs when they happen. My only complaint with it is that it's not focused on enough, such as they focus on other subplots, and even though you have established everything and you can make the emotional arcs work, the last 6 episodes kind of only focus on half of the emotional arcs going around it, and the rest is just a subplot. Speaking of which, this is where we get to the negatives. The first negative is subplot. It's about Jace trying to rule the kingdom and get his hex tech working, and it wasn't really interesting for the first 5 episodes. Each time they were on screen, I was just waiting impatiently for Jinx, Vi, and everyone else to get back on screen and have the better parts of the show happen. But I will say in the last 4 episodes, it does work better. And I was really invested in it to the point where at the end when Vi shoots the missile at them, I was on the edge of my seat and it was really well done. I just wish that they had made it better in the first 5 episodes so that the entire duration of it could have been good. My second problem is that the episodes feel a bit too long. And I know that with a show like this, you need lengthy episodes to get everything across. It's not a huge complaint. Each episode is about 40 minutes long. But I feel like there's a couple of times where they're trying to just desperately reach the 40-minute mark. And I felt like there could be 10 minutes cut out of it. Overall, Arcane is a great series, and I wish I had checked it out when it first came out. And I urge you to watch it right now. Fire up Netflix and go watch it. And it kind of sucks that there were some bad parts in the show because I really wanted to give this a higher score, but because of the big glaring issues I had, I can only give Arcane an 8 out of 10. Guys, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to be back with more reviews very soon. I know I keep saying this and I'm not great at delivering it, but I'm going to be trying really hard over the weekend to get a lot of reviews out to you, and a couple, maybe 1 or 2 before the weekend begins. So stay tuned for those. You can check out my other channels in the description. And you can also check out my Letterboxd, where you can see short reviews that I post on there a little earlier before the full-length review comes out. So go check those out if you want to, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!